Hello, everybody. Good morning. This is Natalie with Natalie Levin Astrology. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a few days since I've been able to check in, and it is July 3rd, 2024. It's a Wednesday at 11:31 a.m. on the East Coast of the United States, and we are approaching. I always do this as I start talking. We are approaching a new moon in Cancer. That is happening on July 5th, and it's going to be sitting right on my natal moon. Just throwing that out there. Um, so here are some things bubbling up for me, just in general, about what's happening right now. This is not really related to the new moon in Cancer, 2024. I just want to see what it says about it. Um, when it's actually happening. Oh my gosh, AI is so wacky that you can just sign in now and it will tell you exactly when it's happening at 6:58 p.m. on July 5th. So that, yes, that is in 2 days. And here is some general themes that are coming up for me right now around the astrology of now. First of all, the moon right now is in Gemini, which I feel like is helpful for communication. And the moon and Jupiter were intertwined today, conjunct at 8 degrees of Gemini. If you have any Gemini placements that are around from between 6 degrees and let's say 10 degrees, I'm going to use a small orb of Gemini. This Jupiter transit can be expanding for you. It can be like, oh, I can take in more. I have more capacity to take in data. And I know for me, I woke up this morning after having taken in a very large amount of data yesterday because I was in New York City all day yesterday, and that's a lot of input just being in New York City. And we had a server at, I used to wait tables at a restaurant called Good Enough to Eat on the Upper West Side. Um, and we had a server there who was like, I'm born and raised here. And then I left and went to college in Binghamton, and it was like, oh my gosh, it's so quiet here. And he had to come back. Like he quit college and came back and he's waiting tables. And I said, when's your birthday? And he told me, and he was a Gemini. And I was like, okay, this makes so much sense. Like I feel like Gemini energy and New York City feel like a really great combination to me. I mean, as a Gemini sun, I don't know the rest of his chart, but here comes, it's just like if I'm a Gemini, and we all are honorary Geminis emotionally right now with the moon in Gemini for the next like day and a half. It's walking around with these antennae that are both giving, I believe, giving and receiving. So I'm like in New York, like, oh, this is all so great. Wow, oh my gosh. Blah, blah. And I spent all day yesterday in New York City, and the moon was in Gemini for most of the day, and it was great. I had an amazing time. So and then it can be like, oh my gosh, my system is getting really overwhelmed. And with Jupiter in Gemini, which is happening, Jupiter stays in Gemini for a total of a year-ish. Um, we are all being bombarded with a lot of information right now. It's bombardment after bombardment after bombardment of, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So there comes a point when it's, okay, I need to shut this down. I need to not, I mean, no, let me take out the word need. I am inviting myself to turn off whatever it is that's bringing in data to me. And I can feel that today. Like I don't want to be on my get be on social media. I don't want to get a lot of information. It feels like a lot and it feels overwhelming. So if you're feeling that, you actually get to turn off whatever it is, and you can even take, even if it's only 1 minute that you have available. It could be that you do this and you breathe in. My breath is squeaky. And breathe out maybe through the mouth. You breathe in through your nose. And breathe out through the mouth. And you breathe in through the nose. Maybe you hold it for a few moments. And then breathe out through the mouth. and you've covered your eyes, and maybe you even hold your ears at the same time, which is a yogic practice. It's called pratyahara to alleviate the amount of data that is coming in, even simply being here on the planet right this moment without having a screen in front of you. That's something that's coming up for me that can feel helpful. Um, and also because we all have so much Cancerian energy right now going on with the Sun and Venus both in Cancer. No, excuse me, the Sun and, oh yes, that's right. The Sun and Venus are in Cancer. So it can feel like after you've had your time perhaps being with the people for whom you feel tenderly, Cancerian energy can be like, oh, it's coming home. I like yesterday I met two people that I had never met before in person, and I have an online relationship with them, and it felt like coming home for me. Like, oh my gosh, I get to hug you. I get to sit in your presence. It feels like a homecoming. And now I also need to go back into my shell. Like both are true. So I'm feeling both of those. Pausing for a second. And we are having this moment that none of us has ever had in this lifetime, which is Neptune has paused in the heavens and is proceeding retrograde, and Neptune is right at the very edge of moving into Aries. So it's this grand finale, grand finale, grand finale energy. And now there's an invitation for us to turn around and go in the opposite. No, that's not right. It's like, oh, I know what. I was listening. Oh man, I don't remember. I think her name is Astro Mame Queen. I don't know. The people who have like these fancy screen names, I don't know who they really are. Um, that's why I was like Natalie Levin Astrology, so I can actually know whom I know my name, and you can know my name. Um, Neptune in Pisces. That's why what you just saw me do was Neptune in Pisces. Like go into outer space. I really did. Um, so we're finishing up that story that began in 2011, and it will be finishing the first time that Neptune enters Aries is happening in March of 2025. That's pretty soon, actually. It's in 9 months. So whatever, if you think back to 2011 and what was going on for you then, we're completing some sort of a cycle around that. You know, for me, that's when I began to actually awaken to the fact that there might be more to this God thing than I had believed. Wow, I'm just realizing that. And that began, and Neptune in Pisces is connection to spirit, connection to spirit, connection to spirit. So thank you, Neptune in Pisces. And for it can also be really like I've seen some stories of flooding when I actually put on a little bit of social media. It is a lot of overwhelm, tsunami. So I invite you to um, you get to parse out the information that actually comes in. Like I'm going to take a break. Maybe I'm Jane, and I say I'm going to take a break today from input, and I'm only going to go on my phone to actually like text a friend or talk to a beloved. How does this land for you? I do have one spot open right now to work with me in a container format for 30 days, and my prices are $1,111 for 30 days, which is really actually quite a steal. I'm going to be raising my prices to $2,222 for a 30-day container with me. So if you'd like to claim this spot at $1,111 before I raise my prices, now would be the time if you've been wondering, is this for me? And you can reach out if you don't know what this is about. I am taking appointments for one-on-one sessions at natalielevinastrology.com. And I'm so glad to be with you all. Thank you so much. And I am grateful for you all. Take good care.